Pap pap! Here with a fucking track review of the song that you clicked on. Suicide Silence, Cease to Exist. Coming off, was it You Can't Stop Me, I believe?
Yeah.
July 15th. It's the first album that they're going to release since Mitch Lucker passed away a couple years ago, and this is the first song really to be put out with Eddie Hermida on vocals, formerly of All Shall Perish. So we're here to talk about it. I mean, we've been Suicide Silence fans for a long time, so we have some shit to say. God damn it! And what is your shit that you gotta say?
I used to be a pretty big fan of this band, like, a while ago, and, like, before the Black Crown came out. Not that I stopped being a fan when it came out, but before it came out, like, leading up to the Black Crown, I was a pretty huge fan of this band. I was still a pretty huge fan after the Black Crown came out, but, you know, this is just kind of like the introduction to the review or whatever. But then the Black Crown came out, and I think all three of us that reviewed it said it wasn't exactly. I think it was like the first review you did with me on the channel, and it was like
History.
all three of us kind of didn't think it was like the best thing, but it was okay. And there were some moments on it. It just somehow lost some of its touch. But I think that was mostly attributed to like somewhat of Mitch, who couldn't hit the same lows that he did, and you know, going in a bit of a different direction. But it seems like they've gone back to the same direction that they were going in, at least to like No Time to Bleed and somewhat of
Cleansing.
a cleansing, yeah. But overall, I'll say the good things first. I think the drummer, Alex Lopez, he's always been a good drummer. He brings a lot of energy and everything. And I think he did it on this. I think he really redeemed himself. Because one thing that I think the three of us kind of said about the Black Crown was that there was kind of a lack of those blast beats that Alex really made his own, almost, that you knew Suicide Silence for. And he really brought it back like full steam in this song. I think that's a bit attributed to Eddie being in the band. They wanted to like go back to this fast-paced, full steam ahead sort of idea of the band, this sort of fundamental thing of the band. And not that they stopped it. I mean, I thought Smash was a pretty good song on the Black Crown, but more so back to like being heavy. That they took a bit of a turn, a little bit, on the Black Crown. But this is full out, fast-paced and full steam ahead, like I said. But Alex is, he's a good drummer. He can hit a lot of things pretty fast, and he doesn't miss a beat. Eddie sounds better than I've ever thought he sounded with All Shall Perish. Not in the sense that, he sucked with All Shall Perish. I just feel like more of the music fitting him and complementing each other. I thought he sounded pretty good on this. He has those vocals that are definitely his own on this. And those were two of the highlights for me of this song. But the things that I wasn't too sold on, it was just little nitpicky things and just kind of my own opinion. I didn't like the breakdown thing that they used, where it's the same note that they hit in You Only Live Once. I know it's a little thing, but like it's so easy to tell, at least for me, and I can nitpick at that so much and say like, man, they just hit a different note or something, like, that was like a fundamental part of You Only Live Once, that note. And then they kind of bring it back. I thought, like, just play something different. And I thought the breakdown could have been heavier, more so than like that groove of it to go with the rest of the song. But the whole song being heavy, I think they maybe tried to sidestep and go with like a groovy breakdown. But I thought, with the momentum of the song, I thought they should have gone into a much more crushing breakdown rather than groovy as it was. Another thing I didn't like, I felt like the song repeated itself a lot. Not that they're like the most progressive band in the world, like a different riff every 15 seconds. It's not like Paul Wagner joined the band, but I just felt like the song repeated itself a lot. Yeah, it had a lot of momentum and everything, but from the get-go of the song, it's not like to say, this is the worst thing in the world. It's just my opinion of a thing that I noticed, not to, say that it is bad. I'm just saying, something that I noticed that kept me personally from saying, this is the greatest song in the world. I felt like the riffing that they used while being, you know, kind of new and everything, like you haven't heard it in a while, you're going back to No Time to Bleed, and that's what a lot of people wanted from the band. I just felt like the riffing that they used and everything, much like the note in the breakdown, was nothing new for Suicide Silence. It's nice, it's heavy, it's fast paced. I just felt like, you know, they didn't bring anything that new to the table. It's just kind of like this return, which you could view as that, like it's this return of Suicide Silence, bringing back, you know, this, you know, what they did best and everything. But for me, at least, I was looking for something kind of else that could be just as fast paced and as heavy and momentous. But just me personally, I thought, I'm not too sold on the riff. It's a cool riff, like main riffing that they use, and then there's just the repetition of it. They use a riff, and then they go to this, I don't know, not chorusy thing, but this other part, and then this breakdown, and this riff, and it's like I was looking for a bit more variety, but just because I've kind of moved away from deathcore a lot, at least preference and everything. And it just seems to me like this kind of brings back a little bit of what deathcore was. This, not stale. It has a lot of momentum. It's a heavy song. It's just the kind of lack of progression, maybe a little bit. Not as much variety as I get elsewhere. But it really it's a song that I can say about it. It is what it is. It's this heavy, not the heaviest song though, but this heavy, song with momentum, and it hits you hard and fast, and maybe that's just not what I'm all about anymore. But it did seem to just kind of repeat itself a bit to me. And the first time I listened to the song, like probably 3/4 of the way through, I'm like, it should be over by now. But the more I listened to it, it just kind of, it made sense, the length of the song. But that's just my opinion on it. Not to say that it's bad, in general. It's just a personal, specific thing. I wish it wouldn't have repeated itself so much, as much as it did. Not that it did so much. It's just, and Breakdown could have been different and a little more inspired, as in, Carnifex takes some time off. Not that they took time off, like they took a break. I mean, I realized Mitch Lucker passed away. But, I just was looking for something kind of newish. This is only one song, but I was looking for, this, like, reanimation of Suicide Silence, but something that's, now and not as much then. But it's a nice tribute to, like, old Suicide Silence. I expect different things on the album.
Is this Eddie Hermida lyrics or Mitch Lucker? Do you know?
Mitch Lucker is "You Can't Stop Me." The song itself.
Okay.
These are, I'm like 90% sure this is.
Because I was going to say these are very Eddie lyrics. I could see these songs, or these lyrics at least, being used in All Shall Perish when he was still in All Shall Perish. Very hateful lyrics, I guess, filled with anger. It's Eddie Hermida. Now, I am one that thinks this song is good. It's not great. And earlier this week, after they released the song, I'm like, damn, I haven't listened to Suicide Silence in a really long time. I went back and listened to The Cleansing, and that record is just so gross. It takes songs like Hands of a Killer, or Bludgeoned to Death, or The Fallen or something. Just very disgusting songs. And I feel that this is a step towards it. Now, if you ask me, I feel that Suicide Silence was better off with that sound on The Cleansing in a little bit of No Time to Bleed, where it was a very raw production. It wasn't as overproduced as it is now. And the production is very clean now. It's very nice, and I wish they would kind of go back to their older guitar tone, because you listen to The Cleansing, and the guitar tone just engulfs you, and just eats you alive, and I wish they still had that. However, I mean, the guitar, everything about the guitars on here It is good. I mean, the main riff's cool. It's nothing that blows your mind. And I agree with Sam about that. You know, the middle section. I mean, that bend is straight out of You Only Live Once, and it's not that it's a problem that they're really using it again. It's just how exact it is. It's literally the same exact duration. So it's basically the same exact riff. They just changed a couple notes instead of like down, it's a little bit different, but it's still like the same exact riff. It's not that creative, and I didn't really realize that until Sam actually pointed it out. That and I was like, that's like the same riff almost. Now, I feel the best part about this song is the drumming. Alex Lopez is a fantastic drummer. To me, he's always been a standout of Suicide Silence. And he definitely is on here. So I'm expecting very big things from him for the rest of the album because the drumming is fantastic on here. And also, Eddie Hermida just sounds awesome. He hits some notes later in the song when he says, when you cease to exist, and they're so high pitched it just shatters your ears. It's like, holy shit! How can you get that high pitched of a vocal without just breaking your vocal cords? It's pretty crazy. He sounds fantastic on here. I feel that he brings a lot of energy to this band that was missing from the Black Crown and a little bit from No Time to Bleed. And I think that's the thing that's going to really possibly serve this album the best. It's just Suicide Silence back to being a very energetic band instead of a more mid-paced band like they were on the Black Crown. They're a band that when they're energetic, I feel they're at their best. And that's probably the best part about this song is that there's just some really solid songwriting. I feel this song's not the best Suicide Silence song, but I feel it brings a lot of, hope and foresight into what could possibly come out of, this song. Or maybe what's on the rest of the album is that, there's a lot better songwriting. There's really good vocals going on. The guitars are maybe a little bit better. The solo's okay on here. I mean, Suicide Silence haven't really stood out for their solos. I mean, there's been some really cool guitar leads and stuff. So I'm also expecting a soloing thing. No shit. Step up in the soloing department on the rest of them. I'm very intrigued by this album and by this song being just good. And I agree with a lot with Sam, which is why I'm not fully elaborating on a lot of things because he pretty much said it all. I'm just more interested in what the rest of this album has to offer, and I feel that by this song being good, I expect a lot, greater things from the album, and I hope so. So yeah, I mean, this is a good song. The guitars are pretty cool, minus a couple riffs, and the vocals are top notch, and the drumming is top notch. So you never know.
Yeah,
This could be a good album.
I could see this song as like being the first song they release or like put out, as it it's a lot like the older Suicide Silence for something for fans and everything, just for the members to kind of take a step back and see how they used to write and everything. And I feel like the rest of the album is going to be probably different, more in the direction of incorporating Eddie and what he did with All Shall Perish. So I feel like it could be heavier and more fast paced and stuff like this. But yeah.
I know that on the album they have two very big named guest vocal appearances. I know one is Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse. I forget the other one. Do you know?
Dillinger Escape Plan.
Dillinger Escape Plan. Yeah.
Greg Poopy. I don't know. Pucciato.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, what would you give this song?
Old Greg. I don't know. I'll give it like a 5 out of 10, just because 5 is like average out of 10. I feel like among Suicide Silence, this is like kind of the epitome of Suicide Silence. Maybe like a 6, but just in the average of Suicide Silence. It's not my favorite song, but it's not my least favorite song. So somewhere around in the middle of what Suicide Silence has always done. It's just kind of there.
7 out of 10 for me. We'll definitely be reviewing the album when it comes out July 15th. And so, yeah, let us know what you think of this song, and we'll see you guys around.
Pop, pop.